Poul's Kitchen. This is Chef Poul, and today's episode is going to be brought to you by the letter P. P, you ask? P for pineapple fried rice. Now, Amy and I, we ordered it the other day, and I found a menu item that was quite different. I've never seen this before. Pineapple fried rice. Amy and I each got an order of ginger chicken and some pineapple fried rice. I said, what the heck, what could this be? I mean, it can't be too bad, right? Try it once. Don't like it, at least you gave it a try. Turns out Amy and I both absolutely loved it, didn't you, Amy?
Yes.
Absolutely loved it. So it gave me some inspiration. So I started looking around. How do you make this? Like, what are other people doing? I found some variations from India, China, and Thailand. We don't necessarily want it hot. We don't necessarily want peanuts in it. But we decided we're going to make a fusion of it. So in today's episode, I want you to hit like, share, subscribe, tell your buddies about it, join our Facebook page, join our IRC, the chat relay program, and come join us with this little truck. So in we go to the kitchen. First off, we're going to turn the fan on. Why? Because we don't like fire alarms. Amy does, but I don't.
No!
So we're going to start her getting her wok together. Now, if you have a really large wok, even better. Brand new thing of vegetable oil, so we're gonna coat the bottom of this really liberally with. We're gonna let that heat up here. Our stove's getting a full breakdown cleaning this week, so needs to be cleaned a little bit. Not a big deal. So I'm going to give you a breakdown of what we have. We have some celery, green onion, garlic. We got some sweet peppers, onion, tomato. Now with this, the first thing you really want to do here is you want to make your rice. Rice cooker, stovetop, whatever. Don't use instant. Anything but instant. Make your rice, put it in the fridge for overnight. If you put it overnight, it's less starchy, it's less sticky, it works better. Always best to let your rice rest for a good 24 hours, if you can, overnight in the fridge before you use it. So we also got some chicken breast over here, pineapple, rice vinegar, soy sauce. And while this is heating up, I want to talk to you about soy sauce. I want you to look over here, the nutrition label. This has 23%. Believe it or not, for soy sauce, that's pretty low. You want to try to get as low as you can. If you can get dark, light, sweetened, there's a whole bunch of them. But make sure you're finding the lower content of sodium. Sodium is the most dangerous thing you can put in your body. Trust me, Amy knows this. When I found Amy, she drinks this like most people drink beer or Pepsi.
I'm not.
So we're going to get this nice and hot. And what we're going to start doing once that is, we're going to start getting our onions all caramelized. We're going to get them down. Then we're going to get the garlic in after that. Then comes the hard part. Well, not really hard, but you got to watch it. But you got to get that on here because we're going to get the chicken in on it. We're going to start slicing it down in ribbons as it cooks. I'm going to give a quick shout out to Lady Angela. We're getting married very soon. Amy and I are both proud of you. Right, Amy?
Yes.
Very proud of you. Very excited. Ron and Bond. Kind of rhymes. Ron and Bond. Next. Bond's one hell of a lady. If you've ever met her, she's a really sweet girl. One of the nicest people you ever meet. Ron's a really good guy. I'm going through a little bit right now, but I'm not going to get into that. But we both love them very much. Alright, so this is about 3 onions. We're going to dump dump this in here. Now I'm going to turn the oven down to around 5 or 6. That's a pretty good temperature, I think. You need to have one of these. Get one you're happy with. You need to be careful. Onions are always a good thing to have on hand. They're always a good thing to eat with because onions are really healthy for you. They help break down certain things, and with COVID going on, you want to make sure you have everything in your arsenal to help you fight off the flu and fight off any viruses. So we want to cook this, we just don't want to overcook them. Because believe me, these are going to be in here the longest. So they're starting to get a little bit of color now. If you start off with your oven or your stove already really, really hot, it won't take too terribly long. Now what we're going to do, we're going to take the garlic. We don't have to wait too long with garlic. You're going to wait until you actually start smelling the fragrance. But show us how garlic. No matter what anybody else wants to tell you, it's very, very important. Now we're waiting for this pineapple. You can actually buy a real pineapple. Not a big deal. Core it, cut it up, slice it up, or you can just get canned. It's not a big deal, either which way. Drain the juice. There's the juice left over from 2 cans. I'm going to drink that in a few minutes because it's really good. Alright, so starting to get the lovely smell. It doesn't take too terribly long. Everybody's oven and stove's going to be different than everybody else's, right? So when you start smelling it, you know it's going off the right way. And by all means, onions are going to start shrinking, and they already are. So pay attention to what you're doing, because my oven's not going to be the same as yours. When you go to start doing yours, it may not take long, it may take longer. Who knows? So, what we're going to do now, some people say you have to marinate. With chicken, you don't have to. You can if you want. I don't find it really adds a whole lot of extra anything to your dish. So you don't have to. Now, I'm planning on making enough for a week for Amy and I. So I'm using 3 chicken breasts. You know, maybe you want to cut down and it's only going to be a meal. I mean, one chicken breast, a cup of rice. We're using 4 cups. You know what I mean? So, you know, be wary of what you're doing. Doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have everything. I'm going to use a little bit of rum. I'm not going to have a lot. And as my wife will tell you, the alcohol is going to burn out of it, so it's not like you're going to get drunk off beating this. And a lot of people, when you're not used to it, that's what you're going to think. It's not going to get you drunk. We're just going to put a little bit of splash on there just for a little bit of flavor. You want to be very careful when you do this, though. Because that alcohol, if you're not good with it, if you're not watching what you're doing, it's going to go down into your burner, and it will start a fire. So it could start a fire. I'm telling you straight up, it's going to start a fire. So watch yourself. I'm going to put a little bit of white pepper in here, and that's it. So what we're going to do is we're going to position this so it starts cooking, and as we're cooking it, and everything starts going, we're going to make it easier and faster, we're going to start slicing this down to very thin strips, cube it really, really small. It will cook faster. And from this point, I'm going to come back to you when this is all cooked, and we'll start with the next step. So I'll be back in a little bit there. So we'll be back. Welcome back. So Now we see that our chicken should mostly be white. You want to make sure that you're really going over it really good, because if you still got pink parts there, you know it's not right. It has to be white. Now where did I put the rice? Right here. Now I obviously made way too much, and that's fine. Am I going to use all this? No. You're going to start dumping the rice in here. And I just said I'm not going to use all of it. Had to compact a lot of it because we just had way too much last night. And of course, when it comes to me, I say Amy's going to have to do some cleaning on her day off. She might actually have to start doing a little bit today. Sorry, Amy. Now, when I say we're not going to use it all, we're not going to waste this. Amy and I can find lots of uses for this, believe me. So that's enough of that. Now we need 2 eggs. Fried rice requires eggs. By the way, guys, if you're on the hesitation road of, why should you have to do the cooking, or why should you try to help your wife with the cooking? You know what? Amy and I have a little bit of an agreement. I cook, she cleans.
And eats.
Yeah, I mostly make most of everything for Amy, so the little bit of the cleaning I make her do is a good repayment, because everything I make for her. This is one dish I'm actually making because we both want it. But most of the time, if you notice, I'm making stuff for her, stuff she likes. So give that a good mix around. I'm going to dump the onion or the tomatoes in now. Now, if you guys have a really good wok, I mean a really good one that's really high up, they're much better. That's going to be my next investment. I'm going to try to find one that's like a really good Chinese style wok. Being how Amy and I tend to cook for
20 people.
20 people, I kind of need one. Then I'm going to dump some sweet peppers in here. If you get them on sale, never a bad thing. Believe me, you can find a lot of things to do with them. And I mean a lot of things. Now, some people have their sauce that they're going to make. I don't. You know what? I think the vegetables and the food does it on its own, so I don't think we really need it. So I'm just going to dump some soy sauce in here. You don't need a lot. You really don't. Then I'm going to use some rice vinegar. Not a lot, just a little bit, right? And then we're going to give this a really good stir here in a minute here. My secret weapon, nutmeg. There's a drug around this house. Amy actually eats this non-stop. Should it tilt it back?
No.
She does. Some white pepper. And some oregano leaves. Okay, perfect. So now we're going to give everything a really good stir. The bigger wok you have, the better and easier this is going to be to do. But you want to make sure you're mixing things really, really good. Dump some celery in. Heat everything, let's not waste. Nobody likes wasting. So we're going to start stirring this in here really, really good. Now you can tell we're almost done because there's really not a whole lot of room for anything else. We'll make room. Here's some pineapple. Here's some more pineapple. So from here we're going to try something a little bit different. I know I'm going to get beaten up for this later, but...
You're going to get me to stir it?
Chef Amy is going to start stirring. I also want to make sure that I'm getting a good view on what everything looks like. Amy's going to get that all stirred up really, really good.
Which isn't very easy to do without spilling.
And it would be much easier if we had a much bigger wok.
Yeah, we need to get a bigger one.
Or if I learned how to cook a little bit more, not so much. So Amy, we're going to turn the heat up this oven for a minute here, please.
Okay.
Now this is the Amy, we would have had a lot of chocolate. And
no, I've been doing good without my chocolate.
She has. I'm just teasing Amy and trying to make the point that Amy's now a diabetic, so we're trying to include things that don't have so much sugar. A nice little example, we made cornbread yesterday. When I say we, I mean I did. Cornbread is an amazing thing we learned. And you know what, if I looked it up online in a lot of recipes called sugar. I asked my good friend from the south, Lady, and she said not to use any sugar. How did it turn out, Amy?
Excellent.
Guess what?
We're going to make it again.
Guess what else?
I don't know.
There's no sugar. None. So, for those that think that you need to have sugar, you don't. Alright, so Amy's going to pour the rest of this into the mix. She's going to spread that around again. And we're virtually done. So what Amy's going to do right now, she's going to turn the oven off. Say hi to everybody, Amy.
Why?
Okay, now take, not with that, with this, take about 1 spoonful, maybe 2. Alright, so she's going to grab a fork. And we're going to, before she eats, because we know Amy's only happy when she has her mouth full, but we're not going to say with what. Doesn't necessarily mean you're always going to have a ton of pineapple, but there's some in there.
And the flavor will be in it.
And the flavor is definitely going to be in there. So Amy, let's take a bite.
Mmm.
How good is it?
Excellent.
So there we go. This is Chef Paul and Pio and Amy. Cook Amy, what do you want to call yourself?
Half Chef Amy.
Half Chef Amy. So please hit the like, share, subscribe. If you have a recipe you'd like us to try, please let us know. But for the meantime, Amy's got some mess to clean up, and worship the feet that I walk on. No, I'm just joking. I like carrying on with Amy, and if you guys know us at all, you know that this is something we do. But anyways, thanks for joining us, and hope to see you soon.